Welcome to Riverside Tai Chi. This is Sifu Jesse Powell coming to you from the heart of New York City. I got an email question from one of the viewers. He wanted to know what is the relationship between forms and fighting? Why do we learn these forms in order to use them in fighting situations or self-defense situations? Now, I think a lot of beginners are confused about forms and their usage. I know I was confused when I first started. I used to think that, you learn these forms or, whatever the form is, you learn how to do these moves and stuff. And when you're in an altercation, you're supposed to start going through these movements and it's going to be successful in your fight. But, I guess maybe that comes from like the movies, watching the movies and stuff like that, but it's definitely not what the forms are for. You're not supposed to be going into a form when you're about to fight. If you're in a fight, if someone's attacking you, the best thing to do is not really think about your form. It's to rely on what the forms put inside the body. It's like the forms train the body to do these movements, but you're not doing the form when you're in an attack situation or in a fighting encounter. The form is more like an encyclopedia. That's the way I think of it. It's like an encyclopedia where you have all this knowledge put into this book or this module, this piece, this form, right? So it's all in there. There's all different techniques, all different concepts, all different striking patterns and things like that. But you have to break those down and you have to really take them piece by piece and work on them. You have to work on what they're for. And it's not going to be like you see it in the form a lot of the times. A lot of the times it's going to look completely different. It might even feel different, but it will have the same concept as you learned when you're practicing the form. So as you train, you'll gain a better understanding of what these movements are for. And you will learn that you can't just put them in a box and think that they'll fit every situation. Every situation is going to be different, and every usage, like you'll use one move and it'll be completely different because the attack was different, and you probably wouldn't even know that you could use it that way. It just, your mind goes to that point. It's always with the mind. The mind is always conscious, but the mind goes to that point that you embedded in yourself and picks it out and uses it. And you'll be surprised at the result of what happened from using that move that you really didn't expect to come out that way. So you wind up snapping some guy's arm. Like I had an altercation where, I did a move. I kind of knew what it was going to do, and it did it. I broke the guy's arm and I smashed him into the park bench. But thing is, you always have to look at the form and find out what pieces do what, and then let it go. Let it go. You have to experiment, but don't focus on it so much, because the skill that you build will come out when you need it. But you have to practice it. You have to practice it. You have to you have to spar, you have to practice, you have to take these movements, put them to some type of usage, as a good friend of mine says, in real time practice. You really have to do this, otherwise you're living in fantasy land, and you may as well just start doing your form while some guy's punching you in the face. But practice, keep practicing, dissect these forms, take the little pieces and see what you can do with them in different situations. The more you practice, the more it gets inside of you, and it becomes a part of your being, which is what is needed for success in self-defense. So Train well, train smart. Talk to you soon.